Hello there everybody and welcome back to another video. Now this is a behind the scenes video that I've wanted to shoot for some time now. We've got 6 days back to back here at the XL in London shooting the UK Black Business Week 2024. We've got a ton happening over these 6 days. We've got interviews, we've got B-roll, we've got live tour capture, and we've got up to an 8-man crew coming on Saturday, which is the big day. So sit back, relax, and come on the journey with us.
Think I saw it coming.
Now I'm in a free fall with nothing to hold on to. Racing for the end, praying for the wind to slow down the feeling and let me somewhere new. Stay.
Just setting up a quick interview on this step and repeat out here. Bring some power through. 2 cameras, 1 key, 1 hair, 1 flag. I'll let Jack talk through what we're doing in terms of camera setups and stuff like that, because that's why I've brought him here.
A little shuffle to your left, please. Sweet, one more. So, we want to have our subject on frame right, looking frame left, and the reason is, if we go on our false colour, look on false colour, you can see we've got shape on the key side. We'll go, well, 2 stops under on our shadow side, which is giving us a lovely wrap. And because of the position of this softbox, we are getting light on the near side of his face, but it's not spilling too much, so we want to put it about there. So we've got some on the background, some on the far side, that's spilling over. Because we've got such a soft source, it's getting rid of our nose shadow, so everyone looks lovely. So because we've got a polarizer on the front of our lens, as I twist that, we're going to get rid of that harsh backlight on the front of his face, which is going to take the shine off his skin. It's really important to do this when you're working with darker skin tones as well, because harsh white light is going to give people a lot of shine. It's going to make people show up on camera in an unpleasant way. So polarizer is our secret sauce there. B-cam, basically we put this in at a tighter focal length. As you can see, we've got Joseph framed in the same position on this screen as we did on the other, so he's on the right frame and he's still looking left. We are hitting the shadow side of his face, which is creating more depth in the image to make it look nicer. What else does it do? So as we're doing live interviews, we don't have a lot of time to film with our subjects. By shooting 2 cameras, it allows us to cut out any mistakes in the edit. So ums, ahs, likes and ands we can get rid of.
So microphones for the interviews, we've gone with, I mean, it's the Rode Wireless Go-Tos, but it's in this, I can't even remember what it's called, like it's essentially an adapter that turns it into a microphone. The reason why I decided to go for this year is for 2 reasons really. For one, it gives the subject something to hold, it gives them something to interact with so that they're not just stood hands by the side looking all boring, like it gives them an object to interact with within the interview when they might feel a bit nervous, etc, etc. And secondly as well, it means that we don't have to lav people up every time. So like I wouldn't do this if we were filming like a proper interview for clients. This is obviously just behind the scenes when it's attached to my neck. And giving them this means that I don't have to do that awkward thing of like, hey, is it okay if I touch you? Like, or you know, they've got dresses, they've got hair that's in the way and stuff like that. This just makes it super, super easy to get them in, here's the microphone and off we go, right? And that's the most important thing, is keeping it easy and keeping it clean without any of the kind of production mess that tends to happen. So the main thing when setting up an interview, obviously composition is the first thing. So you're finding your frame. Now we do loads of these throughout the week, so we kind of are aware of what setup we require. In terms of composition, what I look for is eyes on the thirds. So the eyes, if they're looking off to the side, should intersect on a thirds point, and the same with the B-cam as well. From a technical perspective, it's about having the gear that you need, but not overdoing it. Now we could come in and add a lot of different kit into this setup, but because we need to be versatile, we need to be agile and set this up in a variety of different locations throughout the week, this is the most practical setup that also gets us the best looking results possible.
With a cable in your mouth, what are you doing right now?
Oh God. So we're just setting up the cameras for the full talk recordings, the full keynote recordings. Basically what we've got here is 2 FX30s. We're not using FX3s because I don't need the depth of field. These are at like f5, f6, 70 to 200. Like we're not going for cinematic, we're going for practical, technical, sharp, right? So FX30s on here. You can see we've got one up here, one's being used for the BTS at the minute. We'll put the other one on here as well. So we've got like a wide and a tight. The tight is at 200, the wide is pretty much all the way out at 70. Obviously with the FX30s, we've got crop, so that's probably more like, I don't know, 95. And then this one probably 235, 240 maybe, something like that. Anyway, both of these run down through HDMI into the Blackmagic A10. Now, what we've done, we've plugged them into 2 and 3 over here. The reason why we've done that is because apparently, for some reason, the Sonys don't work well through the ATEM in port 1. Never tested it, but we'll go with what the internet says. This seems to be working well so far. The reason why I'm running it through this is because what this allows me to do is basically live cut the full talk right there. If I can get the audio in, and we'll talk about the audio in just a second, then it's literally done as soon as I hit stop on here. I may have to clean up a few mistakes, but yeah, it's pretty much there, which saves a ton of time in the editing process. In terms of how that operates, 2 HDMIs into the ATEM. We've got HDMI out, which goes into this 24-inch monitor just here, so I have a lovely big preview screen, and then we've got USB-C out to a T7 hard drive over here as well. That's going to record everything. So on the hard drive you get your DaVinci project, you get your isolated camera files, so both camera files, and then you also get the full recording as well, and all of the audio files that come through there. Other important things to note is the way that we're running audio, and this kind of ties into the conversation about safety as well, and just making sure that you've got backups of everything. So let's talk through that now. What we've got, a lovely AV team that's working on this project have left us an XLR out. So what we do with the XLR is we take XLR to 3.5 and we connect that up. What we're then doing, and this is a pretty rigged setup, is we're taking a DJI wireless mic transmitter. We're plugging the 3.5 into there. Now, what this does, this can record, right? So you can record internally on this. So even though we're going to now send this to the camera, so I'm going to mount this on top of the wide camera and basically get the audio through that. What it means is that we've got safety on that track if I need to. In terms of the safety, we've also got safety audio tracks through the AV team as well, because they're recording everything. We've also got another safety audio track because we're going to record internally on the wide camera and the tight. And then in terms of the video feed safety, what we're going to do there is record on both cameras. The ATEM will give you isolated camera files, and then you've also got the full recording with the switches made live as well. So we've got 3 forms of safety just to make sure that none of the live talks get missed, and really kind of if anything happens, we've always got backups of every single file that we could possibly need.
Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? It's undefined, want to know where you are.
Bagels.
Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark?
Coffee, bagel. So in order to produce this event, we've got a 5-man crew throughout the week. That consists of myself, director and producer. You've also got Wes Meadows, who's an absolute B-roll savant on the gimbal the entire time. You've got Jack Brazil, who is literally, it says on his name badge, weapon of mass production. Jack is just one of those guys that you can just trust to just crack on with whatever it is. If it's live talk capture, if it's interviews, if it's setting up cameras, if it's setting up lights, you always need somebody on the team that you can just trust to do whatever job is needed at the time. We've also got Kai Edwards shooting the behind the scenes video right now. He's smiling at me. And then we've also got Joseph, who is our production assistant for the entire week. We've also got 3 additional crew members joining us on the Saturday, but we're going to talk you through that when it is actually Saturday. Hello, Future Ollie here, and we are back from the show. Now, I'm going to be real with all of you. Saturday was such a crazy, hectic day that we didn't manage to get any of the A-roll to wrap this video up actually filmed, but I'm doing it now, and I hope that this artsy frame makes up for it. So let's talk about Saturday. Like I said, we had an 8-person crew for Saturday. Additional members to the team that you haven't yet met were Adam, Yasmin, and Michael. Adam was set up on the photo studio all day, basically shooting headshots of the visitors as they came through. Now, this is something that UK Black Business Week added to the show last year, and we've continued this year. And in my opinion, a really nice addition to the show, leading with value with free headshots for all the visitors, whoever wants them. It was a pretty simple setup for the photo studio. We had a 300 watt key light. We had a 150 watt, I believe, hair light, which was basically turned all the way down, had some diffusion paper in front of it, same setup as the interviews to be fair. Other things to note for the photo studio was the grey backdrop that we used. Nice and neutral so that the images will work literally anywhere that they're placed. And I mean, that pretty much wraps up the photo studio. There's nothing really more to report there. Yasmin, my producer and operations manager, came in to support with vision mixing for the live talk capture, and the setup was literally exactly the same as we talked through earlier in the video, so nothing more to say on that front. Michael was brought in to support with camera operation, running B-roll and show floor interviews for the entire day on an FX6 and an Easy Rig combo, and I'll talk more about all of the kit that we use for Saturday in a minute. We also had some pretty incredible speakers for the Saturday show on the main stage. Some highlights include Afua Hirsch, who's a writer and broadcast journalist. We also had Dean Forbes, and if you don't know Dean by name, you've probably seen the video of him closing a $1 billion deal. I'll cut in the video right now because it went pretty viral.
Thanks for everything, I'll catch you soon. Alright, cheers.
A man pulled off £1 billion deal. Bruv, that's so mad.
And of course, the main man himself, Mr. Stephen Bartlett, was back for the second year in a row, and I was actually lucky enough to go backstage and shake Stephen's hand and have a quick chat with him after the show, which felt pretty surreal. Okay, so with the key team members and speakers out of the way, I want to talk about some more notable aspects that we haven't yet spoke about in this video. Probably the most important one being our workflow to get these daily videos turned around within 12 hours of production finishing, as well as sleeping 5 to 6 hours in between. So the editing workflow is pretty simple. To be fair, it just requires a good amount of planning beforehand to ensure that you get things right. You need all of the assets that you're going to use signed off in advance. So you need the name tags, the logo stings, the music, right? You can't be changing the music if you're doing daily turnarounds. You also need the main structure of the video signed off beforehand as well. So the intro, the outro, and the main talking points that the interviewees are going to discuss in the middle. Once you've got all of that in place, it's just a matter of staying organized and processing the footage as fast as possible. How this looked for the entire week was that Wes would go off and shoot probably 20 to 30 solid shots. He would then bring that footage back into the base station and swap the cards, or in the case of the 6K Pro, swap a T5 hard drive. This is another reason why I love using the 6K Pro for our B-roll, because we don't have to mess around transferring footage from cards to hard drives. We can just plug the hard drive straight in and edit directly off of that. Once we had the footage, myself, Kai or Jack, whoever was available, would then cut that footage down into daily. So that's cut, coloured and stabilised footage that we then export out at 4K ProRes 422, and then we back those up on Google Drive. We also do the exact same thing with the A-roll, the only difference being that we're levelling the audio and doing any noise reduction that's required, and then we export and back up that footage as well. At the end of the day, when we're all finished filming, I will then go through each piece of footage and make my selects in terms of the best B-roll and sound bites that were captured. This is then ready for me to come back in the next morning and jigsaw everything together alongside the UK Black Business Week teams, where it's a collaborative edit that then gets exported as the final video. Obviously, a process like this requires every single person on the team to be absolutely on the ball, which is just another reason why you need to work with competent, like-minded freelancers that make your job easier, not harder. Finally, let's talk about all the gear that we used for the Saturday show, because there's a lot of it. B-roll was captured on the 6K Pro with a 24-70, the exact same setup that we've been using all week. And in addition to this, we also had Michael with an FX6 and Easy Rig combo. Pretty sure that Michael had a 24-105 lens on there as well. But what this allows him to do is just be super agile. So he can run around all the different areas, the show floor, the 4 different stages that we had, and capture everything that is needed for the video. We also then had the 2 FX30s with 70-200s on the main stage, capturing the live talks, and the setup was literally exactly the same. Headshots from the photo studio were captured on a 5D Mark IV with a Sigma 50mm 1.4 lens, but we actually shot this, I think at f2 or 2.8, just to make sure that everything was super sharp with the headshots. Interviews was shot on an Ursa G2 with a 24-70, the exact same setup that you've seen all week. We also had a Sony a7 IV ready to go just in case anything happened with any of the cameras that we had in operation. This is crucial to have on set, on production, because what happens if one of the cameras malfunctions for any reason? It could be as simple as a visitor walking into the camera and knocking it over. It could be that the camera just randomly decides to stop working. You don't know what can happen when you get on set. You can be as cautious as possible, but accidents always happen. And what can't happen is one of your cameras that are being used for a key operation within the production just not being available. You have to have backups. You have to have plan Bs for everything within that production. And the A7 IV is a fantastic photo camera, a fantastic video camera. It's the perfect backup camera because it can do everything. So all in all, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cameras in operation that day. So if you're wondering what the team and the kit list looks like to shoot an event like this with 4 different stages and hundreds of exhibitors and interviews happening everywhere throughout the day and the photo studio as well, that's what's required. An 8-person crew and 7 cameras in operation as well. Well, 6 cameras in operation, 1 as a backup. So that pretty much wraps up an incredible 6-day event shoot. I cannot thank my clients enough for bringing us back for the 4th year in a row. Just to give you an idea, each day we were working anywhere between 12 to 16 hours back to back. We would basically go to bed, wake up and get straight back to it. Not only that, but when I got back on Sunday, I was editing Saturday's video and I was editing Monday as well, and then straight into a week of catching up on everything that I'd missed whilst I was away filming for the entire week. So I actually didn't take a day off for 12 days as a result of doing this production. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed coming with us behind the scenes for this entire week-long production. A huge thank you goes out to all of the team that came along for this. I literally couldn't do this without them. So a huge thank you goes out to them. And if you've enjoyed watching the content and if you enjoy watching the process of me building a world-class production company, then hit like, comment, subscribe. Let me know that you're enjoying the video content that we're putting out. But with all of this being said, that's everything for this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.